right, we will call the first meeting of 2024 to order, and we will start by doing the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, welcome everyone. Brian, would you go ahead and provide roll call for us?
Kelly Campbell. Here. Pete Garbutt.
Here.
Mike Mays.
Here.
Brooklyn Barnhart.
Here.
Andy Body.
Here.
Thank you. All right, first item on the agenda is the swearing in sessions that we need to do for new members of council. So Joe, I'm going to refer to you on this.
Okay. First, the order is I'll swear the mayor in, and then we'll swear in the new member of council. And that will be your job, to swear in the
Yes,
new
I
member of
know.
council. So, all right. Where do you want to do it? You want to do it up here or down there?
Doesn't matter if it's fine. Is that fine?
Wherever you want to do it. Okay, we can do it right here. If you will please raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Kelly Cornett Bullington,
Solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Charter
the Charter
and ordinances
and ordinances
of the Village of Georgetown,
of the Village of Georgetown,
and will obey the laws thereof.
and will obey the laws thereof.
And I will faithfully,
And I will faithfully,
honestly,
honestly,
and impartially
and impartially
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of mayor
of mayor
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're good. All right, now you get to swear in the new member of council.
All right. Let's just go ahead and do Andy Bakke first.
Miss Andy
You want to do it
Body.
up here, Andy? Okay. All right, raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Andy Body,
Solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Charter and ordinances of the Village.
the Charter
Sorry,
and ordinances of the Village of Georgetown,
thank you. And will obey the laws thereof and will faithfully,
will obey the laws thereof, and will faithfully,
honestly, and impartially discharge the duties
honestly, and impartially discharge the duties
of a member of the Georgetown Village Council
of a member of a Georgetown Village Council,
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Who else just got elected? Did anyone else get elected?
No, that's it, right?
That was it?
Everybody is in here,
All
so we're
all
good.
same terms?
Yes. Yes, we're good.
Did you run for re-election, Pete?
Yes.
You need to get sworn.
you gonna
Kelly did too.
Kelly did. And Brooke,
It's a new term.
Brooklyn was already sworn in.
new term.
So,
So who
Thank
else
you.
got elected? You got elected?
Kelly.
You got elected, and who else? Did you get elected? No, you didn't run. You're still on your last two. So 1, 2, 3, that's right. So the two of you need to get sworn
Okay.
in. You want to do it down there?
yeah, let's go around.
One at a time.
I thought there was more than one.
I think we can do we do two at a time or one at a
It's up
time?
to you. Do each one.
Okay.
That's why, yeah. So, they were the two new elected, right?
All right, guys, raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Ron Garvin, I, Bill Campbell,
Solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Charter and ordinances of the Village of Georgetown,
the Charter and ordinances of the Village of Georgetown,
and will obey the laws thereof,
and will obey the laws thereof,
and will faithfully, honestly, and impartially
and I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially
discharge the duties of a member
discharge the duties of a member
of the Village of Georgetown
of the Village of Georgetown,
Council upon which I am about to enter.
council upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations, guys. All right. So you want that? All
All right, well, congratulations to everyone. So let's go ahead and start the meeting with public comment
We
and,
gotta do election of
oh, shoot,
president.
goodness, that is right. Before we can go to public comment, we have to elect the next council president. So I will open the floor to nominations to someone that wants to be council president. This is a responsibility of a council member. So in the absence of the mayor, you would run meetings. In the absence of the mayor, you would actually fill in as the assistant mayor or a vice. What would be the official term? Mayor, if they have to fill in, if somebody could not fulfill the duties. For example, the mayor.
You're just the interim.
Very good. So you would be the interim mayor.
You read legislation as well.
Yes, and during council meetings, you would lead in reading legislation.
I would be interested.
Okay.
So do you need a second for him?
So Jill,
You don't have to have a second. You can nominate yourself as well.
No.
You can second it. Okay. All right. You can do it.
all eyes are pointing on Kelly Campbell. Do we need any type of vote?
Well, let's ask if there's anyone else. And then if not, yes, we still vote.
Okay. Anyone else interested in the role of council president? I will take that as a no. So therefore, we will need to vote on that.
Call the roll up by acclamation.
All right. So would that be something, Brian? So Brian, we would need to, so Kelly Campbell has nominated himself for the role of council president. And what we need to do is go ahead and vote. So Brian, would you do a roll call?
Kelly Campbell. Ben Corbett,
Yes.
Mike Mays,
Yes.
Brooklyn Barnhart,
Yes.
and Boggy.
Andy.
Andy Boggy, I'm
Yes.
sorry.
That's okay.
It'll take a few minutes.
That's all right.
All right. Motion passes. Congratulations, Kelly. All right, let's move into our public comment. So we will go ahead and start over here on my left. We're going to start in the back. I believe, though, are you from Adams County Regional Medical Center? That's you. Okay. All right. Because you were looking at me like, not me. Nothing for council. Nothing. Okay. All right. Just watching, observing. All right. We'll go next. Jeremy, nothing? Nothing? Everybody's shaking their heads. This Jeremy, I'm assuming just observing. I'm going to skip over you because I know you're here for a presentation, so we'll add that in here and just.
30 minutes?
There, you can have whatever you need. Delbert, anything for council? You're good as well? All right. Nothing for, okay, thank you. Jan, anything for council?
I'm sorry.
Anything for council? Would you like to comment?
You might want to take somebody else first.
Okay, I will do that. I don't believe two of them. They're cool, good just sitting there. Ned?
I have two short things, I think. So a lot of people here know me. Some people don't. I'm Ned Lodwick, and I'm the Vice President of the U.S. Grant Homestead Association and the historian of the Brown County Historical Society, and I'm here for both groups tonight. As far as the U.S. Grant Homestead Association, I'm simply here to say that, we have the last couple of years have had fireworks on Grant Day weekend on Saturday night over the courthouse. And the Grant Association has always funded about half of the fireworks. And I know you're going to be talking about that in the future. And we just wanted it known that we will fund half the fireworks. We don't know what the cost this year will be, but we will fund our part. Okay, so that's really all I had for the Grant Association. For the Historical Society, got some reading material. I was guessing from the last time I was here on how many I needed, and I think I came out about right. Okay? So, some people have already heard the rumors that we are going to redo the Dixon, Washington cabin at the fairgrounds. That cabin was the first cabin built in Brown County. 1793, was built as a kind of a radar station by the Commonwealth of Kentucky to guard Kentucky from Indian war parties. Indian war parties at that time for the Shawnee weren't like in the movies, 6 or 10 people. They were 100 or so Shawnee Braves. And if you were in the village, out in Kentucky, in your farm with your family, you might have 1 or 2 single-shot rifles. Your chances were slim. So Simon Kenton came up the idea that they would have someone to warn people, and then they would warn people, kind of like the old telephone calls that you made when the snow closed schools. Okay, I'll call 2, you call 2. And so these 2 gentlemen came across into Ohio, which was still Indian territory, very dangerous job, overlooking Eagle Creek, and watched for Indian war parties. It was placed in such a way at Logan's Gap that they were about a half mile from the Ohio River, whereas the Indians, once they were detected up the creek, took about 2 miles to get to the Ohio River, so they could get ahead and warn people. So it was used for, that was the purpose for it, okay? A couple years later, it became unneeded because the Indians signed a treaty in 1795 at Greenville and left Ohio. So no longer were there raids from this part of Ohio. They continued from Indiana, so Western Kentucky was in trouble then. Kentucky was losing about 1,000 settlers a year to Indian raids. So it was very important. After the cabin was abandoned, not needed for a watch area, it was used as a family home and a family farm until about 1974. And in 1975, a family bought it. We're going to tear it down. There's a picture of it. It looked like a little white house. And the story goes that when the bulldozer guy pulled up and hit it, he backed up, got off the bulldozer, and told the people there's a log cabin under there, because it didn't budge. So it was researched, they found out what it was, and it was donated to the Historical Society. So it was moved to the fairgrounds in 1976 as part of the U.S. Bicentennial. It's been uncovered now for 47 years, and it has taken a beating. Those cabins were not meant, like today's cabins, to be a permanent structure. They were temporary. They were better than a lean-to, okay? But they weren't going to last long. And my example is, if you want to see the original 3 cabins in Bethel, go to Burke Park. They aren't there. They've rotted into the ground. If you want to see the first building in Adams County, go up along 52 to the sign where it says Buckeye Station, built by Massey. It's a chimney. Okay, so if we need to do something, so what our proposal is, it's all in there. We're going to take it down. There's a few logs that need to be replaced and put it back together. They say they can do, if we start early in the spring, he can have it ready for the fair. So I have a gentleman from Adams County going to do it for us, and he has done cabins for Bob Evans and a lot of the historic cabins around here up on Clough Pike and in Goshen. So he's interested in doing this deal. We are raising funds by selling bricks. There's a brick list on the back of each of yours, I hope. And so we're doing individuals that want to put a name or in memory of their parents or their business, whatever they want to put on it. They got 3 lines, $50 bricks. Or you can do a $100 brick if you need more lines. And so we're doing that. We're also talking to groups that may want to donate a larger amount. And so that's why I came tonight. We're not saying we want $10,000. We're not saying, we're just saying whatever people think they might feel like putting into the fund. We're about a third of the way there just in 10 days. So people have been very interested in getting involved in doing this because a lot of people know that cabin from the fair. Okay. It's a very educational stop for kids and for adults. People walk in there and they say, gee, I've been coming to the fair since I've been 5 years old and I've never been in here. This is cool. And then they hear the story of pioneer life and of that. So we think it's important. Most people who know me know how involved I am in the Grant Association. I think this cabin is the most important historical structure in the county. More so than Rankin House, more so than the Parker House, more so than the Grant buildings. So I think it's that important. A lot of people say, well, why don't you get a grant from Ohio History Connection? The reason is simple. To get a grant from the Ohio History Connection, which was the Ohio History Historical Society until they wanted to modernize. And we talked to them to get one of their grants. You have to be on the National Historic Registry. And to be on the National Historic Registry, you have to be on the original site. So if it was on the original site, it would be gone because there's a new house on that foundation. Okay. So it's catch-22 for us on that. If we could do that and apply to Ohio History Connection, we would have the funding now because it's a 2-for-1 matching. So, yeah, so we're going to go countywide, talk to folks, $100 here. We've already had a $3,000 gift. We've had a $5,000 gift. So from some private people and a few organizations. So I'm just throwing it out there for you guys to talk about. You can read about it. And if you're interested, my contact number is on there. And Kelly knows how to find me. And so that's basically all I have. Has anybody got any questions about it?
The bricks that you're selling, where exactly will they be displayed?
They're going to go in what would be the front yard of the cabin.
Okay.
So we're going to kind of build a memorial area. There's a marble headstone there. Actually, I think it's granite that I think the Hesslers did for the cabin, and I think we're going to put the bricks around that. And I don't know who's going to do it. It might be me on my knees. I don't know who's going to do it, but somebody's going to do it.
Your budget.
The estimate we were given was $58,000. And we are looking now at some fancier sidings that may actually look like a log cabin. But what we were looking at was concrete, because that's what Ohio Historical Societies do into their cabins. They're molded, so they look like wood. And they last well into the future. We have found a place that actually makes concrete siding that looks like logs with chinking. So we're going to look into that. And so we're expecting that will be a little more expensive than what we were given as the estimate. So
When do you have to be fully funded for your project?
soon as possible, because we have not yet signed a contract. We have the bid. He would like to start as soon as the weather is nice. And so, who knows when that'll be? It might be March and it might be July. It's
Hospital can buy a
Ohio.
brick for $50,000.
I'm sorry.
The hospital can buy a brick for $50,000.
We're from Adams County.
So, but that's where we are now. We're just going around talking to folks, and we got 8 or 10 more groups we plan to talk to. So, okay.
All right. Thank you, Ned.
Thank
you for
you.
joining us tonight.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, folks.
All right, Miss Jan,
I have some brick
extra forms.
forms.
Perfect.
If anybody's interested.
Thank you, Ned.
Uh-huh.
Legs.
Where, Jan? You're up.
You have other folks here.
No one else wants to speak, so they've all deflected. So it's your turn.
All right.
Just make sure you state your name.
Looks like a
Jan.
lot of people work, but it isn't.
State your name.
Yeah, it's too far away.
Pull it through you.
By now, you're probably all aware of the fact that I received a political sign and I returned it to the owner via the police department. And the patrolman took a report, and of course, unbeknownst to me, he also did a body cam thing, but that's neither here nor there. But the problem that I have with the whole thing is that when Joe's office decided there wasn't any crime committed, I didn't steal the sign. It was given to me, and I took it to the police to give to the owner. And the prosecutor's office said the same thing. There wasn't any crime, so they let that go. The prosecutor's office, though, did tell me that the owner of the sign, Chris Porter, was ballistic, and that I should probably pay attention to that, which I have. The report was released immediately. Chris took it, gave it to Amber Fletcher. She put it up on her Facebook page. The problem with that is there are some reports that shouldn't be released, that being one of them. I wasn't arrested, cited, charged, issued a written warning, anything. But that's all water under the bridge at this point. The problem is there was personal information on there, and I went and tried to talk to the chief about that, but he asked me if my social security number was on there, and I said no, and he said redacted. And he said, was your phone number on there? And I said no, and he said redacted. And then I left. I thought there wasn't any reason to continue the discussion. The phone number is easily obtained. You can go on the internet, or you can go to the Board of Elections. They have it on their file. You know, it's not like it's a secret. My full name was on the report. I don't use the full name. My full address was on there. My age, my date of birth, that was all on the report. Now, none of that really bothers me. What bothers me is what's been done with that. I have had computer people come in to run screens on the computer because somebody breached email and everything, and I get 50 to 120 emails a day that I have to knock off of there. They've tried a couple of different things, and it keeps coming back. My phone, I had to turn the ringer off on my phone because it, again, that's like 50 to, well, like today there were only 35 calls, but I periodically go over and push the button to see if it's a number that I recognize that I should return the call. They're all just robocalls. So somebody has picked up lists and sold them and one thing and another. Since that time, Chris Porter has wanted me arrested and charged with stalking because I drove down Main Street past his house. You know, I mean, so now I don't. I take the back route. It's just gotten out of hand. Now, what I'd like to see is some training in the police department about how to handle these records. there is a member of the village, a longtime employee, who's had the same issues. She has never been arrested or charged or anything, but her videos and her, and whenever she's been questioned, that's been released. Her whole family's been dragged through it and everything. That has got to stop. So that's why I'm here tonight. First of all, congratulations to all the new faces. I'm hoping that it makes a change. I'm hoping that the police that are sworn to serve and protect actually do that. So consequently, like I said, I tried to talk to Rob about it, show him in the code where it's what you do and what you don't do. I worked with open records for a long time, and I didn't have to know a lot about them, but I had to know as a reporter how they affected me. In 2019, there was a change. And in 2019, from that point on, if you weren't charged, cited, arrested, issued a written warning, those reports were not made public. They are, as the code puts it, exempt from that. And I'm sure I'm not the first. I can guarantee I won't be the last to have this happen. And I had asked the previous mayor just for an apology, just acknowledgement that this is what happens. And he said that was never going to happen. So I'm not expecting that. I just want adequate training. And that's it.
Limit, but yes, Jan, appreciate the feedback and thank you for coming tonight.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
You're fine. Appreciate the feedback. Training is always good.
Yeah.
Certainly things that we have talked about across the board. So appreciate it and thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We are going to come off of the agenda for just a moment here. We do have a special presentation tonight by Adams County Regional Medical Center. So you have the floor. Please introduce yourself.
Will do. How much time do you want me to take? So I'm Alan Bird. I'm the administrator at Adams County Regional Medical Center.
Thank
I've
you.
been there 6 years, unbelievably. I am a farm kid from Idaho. I live in Peebles. When George McCoy's feedlot, when the wind shifts, it smells like home. My dad's place. When I got to Adams County Regional Medical Center 6 years ago, we were losing about $1.5 million per year. We were facing a lot of the same problems at the hospital in Brown County faced before it closed. I actually spent quite a bit of time in Brown County. I've been on the chamber board. I was on the chamber board with Brian for a long time. In that 6 years, we've opened 2 clinics, one in Brown County, or in one in Georgetown in Dr. Lee's old office, and one in the Hospice of Hope building in Mount Orb. So I'm trying to restore as much healthcare as I can. Adams County's poor. I'm not sure where you, meaning Brown County, fit in the poverty level in Ohio, but it's probably close to ours, I would think. So it's been a fun 6 years. The first year, it wasn't fun. When you're the change agent, when you're the new mayor in town and you're trying to affect change and make things happen. And my dad had a rule on his farm, and you guys will appreciate this, is everybody works. If you don't work, it's a problem. So to make a long story short, with our little facility, has anybody been there before? Handful of people maybe. So we weren't days away from closing when I got there, but they had about 3 days of cash on hand. So if something bad happened, that's not a lot of money. Then you push into COVID and all that different types of things. But we gutted our operations. The same problems that were, again, affected with the Brown County and all those things. Every rural hospital has those same issues. Hundreds of small hospitals have closed. It's getting harder. We fortunately, the board of directors is amazing, got a great medical staff. I spend probably 70% of my time in the community, in the hallways with the employees. And operational, we kind of just gutted it. So now we have 151 days of cash on hand. 6 years later, we had 1 clinic. Now we have 5 clinics. We're never going to be Mercy. We're not going to be Christ. We're kind of Brown County, and we're hoping Brown County will adopt us as their hospital in time. I'm trying to get a $5 million grant with the Appalachian Grant. A lot of people are applying for in Mount Orb. If that happens, we're going to build about a 10,000 square foot facility and just start adding services. But each of the clinics that we currently have, Georgetown, Mount Orb, 2 nurse practitioners, 6 days a week. Last 2 years, I was only able to recruit 2 full-time doctors, family practice. So I got 2, and I needed 2 or 3 in Adams. So we got 2. I put them both in Brown County. So Georgetown has a full-time doctor, Dr. Ali. He was supposed to be here tonight. But something must come up, patient, whatever. So he's there 5 days a week. And I'm not sure how many doctors, family practice there are in Georgetown. Probably not a lot. Mercy just pulled out. So we're doing what we can. Our problem after 3 or 4 years of being here is we need space. Who's been to Dr. Lee's office? How small is it? I mean, that little clinic 3 or 4 years ago where we were seeing 5, 10 patients a day, they'll see 50, 55. So you basically have 3 providers over there. We're open on Saturday 9 to 1. We're not an urgent care, we're family practice. But with the extended hours, that keeps people out of urgent cares, which are more expensive, and it keeps people out of ERs, which are even more expensive. We have an x-ray unit in Georgetown. Anybody know that? So we have an x-ray unit. The space isn't big enough. If I had the space, I'd put physical therapy in there. I'd put an ultrasound in there. I was trying to do a deal with the Johnny with the group, the Mercy. That's difficult. The communication is as good as I'd like to have hoped. But so if anybody knows of any decent space, I need 4,000 square feet, maybe 5,000 square feet. And again, the more I have, the more I can give back to the community. Just share that message with me. If you want more healthcare services in Georgetown, support our clinic. Because we have 2 clinics in Brown County, I felt like Brown needed represented on our board. So, Darren Schneider, I'm sure a few of you know Darren. We invited him to be on our board for the express purpose of representing Brown County and advocating for Brown County. So in your brochure, you probably saw our GI physician, Dr. DeBanto, full-time GI. Most rural hospitals don't have a full-time GI. A full-time orthopedic surgeon we stole from UC Health and the VA. Just fantastic. Fellowship trained, could have gone anywhere in the city. And so we're growing in a weird environment. We're doing pretty good. We keep it simple. We're not, I don't think we're arrogant. I think we're just working hard. I think we're working harder than the Mercies and the Christ and those big facilities because we want to provide that health care. And I promise you, if you support us, we will continue to grow. And I think we have grown and we're going to continue to grow. We make mistakes all the time. So I'm kind of an apologist at times. I've been in meetings where, people start beating up on me for something that happened 15, 20 years ago. And I just say, I'm sorry, because I don't care. We'll do what we got to do. So that's kind of it. I could keep going. People say I talk a lot. I'd probably be maybe good for this committee. Any questions, any concerns, anything I need to apologize for? Or what are you hoping for? What do you want? Everybody says they want a hospital, but
Looks like he needs to talk to Jason Hammond.
Right?
no, I already have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've talked several times with him. So he's advocating pretty big.
Mhm.
Ed Wood.
Ed Wood, yes.
Is that something that's too big or too much work or?
The what?
I need something temporary, meaning I need 4,000 square feet for 2 or 3 years. And then I need to build 6,000 square feet or 8,000 square feet. So I just need somewhere to land. because we're growing so quickly right now that people are literally standing in the waiting room, they're parking on the grass, just different things like that. But any ideas you had, I'd entertain.
Besides the space, is there other things that we can offer to get you to invest in the community, whether that be infrastructure, utilities? Obviously, we have Southern Hills right here, which does have, some medical related programs, and you have a ready to go workforce there. So is there other things that we can do as a village council to maybe help you grow your business here in the town?
Just give me a chance to advocate, give me a chance to talk to you. I'd love to come back every 6 months. I think I have a moral obligation to Adams County and the folks. Now that we have clinics in your county, I feel I have a moral obligation to return a report, kind of my stewardship. Again, our little facilities, we're not a for-profit. We were a county facility. We converted to a not-for-profit. I'd love to come and just get your ideas, get your thoughts. If you hear something crazy, let me know so I can fix it. But I sit on some economic development within the county already. I've been the chamber vice president in Brown County for 4 or 5 years. Now I've been a board member. I sat on there with Brian. So just help me get involved. Let me know what we need to do. Tell your friends, we got a full-time doc here. That's a big deal for even Georgetown. And try to use even if you go to a different provider, come to our clinic. The more dollars that can come in, those healthcare dollars are sacred and they're scarce, kind of like your guys' budget. Those dollars are scarce and sacred. So anything we can do to throw that net and kind of pull them in, we're going to do the best we can. But, is there something special? Maybe. I've been in front of the county commissioners a few times. I think they like me because I'm a kid from Idaho. What am I going to get out of this, right? I'm going to retire in 6-7 years. Not as soon as this guy over here. But I'm going to do everything I can in the next period of time to restore what I can. People want the hospital. People want a hospital here. That 32 corridor is kind of where the growth is. There's a lot of healthcare dollars in that area. There might be another couple clinics that we're going to open in the county. There's so many people here. They're good folks. They work hard. And as far as the Southern Hills CTC, I actually have a little clinic in there already with a telehealth cart. So I partner with Kevin Kratzer on that as well. So any questions? I don't even know if that's a presentation, but.
That was a very good presentation, and we certainly appreciate having you in the community. I can attest to the services there. I've got a son that tends to have four-wheeler accidents and different things, so it's been nice to have that pretty much right up the street. So we appreciate you.
Yep. And again, my job is to bring in more doctors. You need docs, and docs bring in more services, and it builds the infrastructure.
Thank you.
Anybody got it?
Thank you.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm Alan Bird. B-I-R-D, like Tweety Bird. There you go. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
And I can't come back how often do you want me to come back? Maybe every 6 months, 9 months? What's too often?
Guys, what do you think?
Every 6 months.
And if you want to come back sooner, you're always welcome.
I'll do 6 months. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you have anything, let me know. Call a hospital, call the clinic over here. And I need ideas. I need your help. So thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, let's go ahead and move into general business. The first item on the agenda is the regular session of council meeting minutes, page 1 of your packet here. So we need to review those minutes and look at approving those, or if there are any edits, please state so. We don't have to read that, right? Once you guys are finished reviewing those, assuming you've probably already read them ahead of time, if there are any edits, I will entertain that. If not, I will entertain a motion to approve them.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second? The motion has been made by Andy Bakke to approve the meeting minutes, seconded by Bink. All those in favor? Oh, wait, roll call.
Kelly Campbell.
Yes.
Brent Garbutt,
Yes.
Mike Mays,
Yes.
Brooklyn Barnhart,
Yes.
Andy Bugby.
Yes.
All right, motion passes. Next item on the agenda, page 5, special session council meeting minutes. That meeting was held on December 20th. Take a look at those meeting minutes. Once finished, I will entertain a motion to approve. All right, Bink has made the motion. Is there a second? Seconded by Kelly Campbell. Brian?
Kelly Campbell, Brent Garbutt,
Yes.
Mike Mays,
Yes.
Brooklyn Barnhart,
Yes.
Andy Bugby.
Yes.
All right, page 6, special session of council meeting minutes, December 27th. Same order of operations. Review those and we can entertain a motion to approve unless there are edits.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Kelly has made the motion, seconded by Mike Mays. Brian, roll call?
Kelly Campbell, Brent Garbutt,
Yes.
Mike Mays,
Yes.
Brooklyn Barnhart,
Yes.
Andy Bugby.
Yes.
Motion passes. All right, continuing on. Gosh, there's a lot of items in here. All right, page 7, review of the community development meeting minutes. If someone is here that is on that committee and would like to speak to any of the items there noted, you are more than welcome to do so.
We're just going to resume that once we establish all the committees that we're going to have. So we talked about that with Jeremy and Brooklyn. So we're going to pick back up on these things. We just need to get the new committee in place, ready to go.
And I have that, so I do name the committee members. I have been working on that. Probably, since we do have an open council seats, it might be best to announce that once we fill that, or should we go ahead?
It's up to you.
I would say by next meeting, I will have that set for you guys. Okay? So until then, we'll kind of be in a little bit of limbo there. All right. Page 8, we have a resolution to look at. All right, and Joe, can you speak to this annexation? Or do we read it first?
You can do it either way. You want to have it read first?
No, I want you to speak
Okay.
to it.
These are the next 2 items on your agenda. I apologize for my voice. I'm getting over a cold. These are both resolutions that are the acceptance of property that the Brown County Board of Commissioners voted about approximately 60 days ago to go ahead and authorize the annexation. We're required to wait 60 days at least after they do that until our next meeting. As you know, we had a break from regular meetings because you didn't meet twice in December. So this is the next regular meeting since that time period. And these are 2 parcels of land that we had petitioned the commissioners to annex. One of them, I think one of them is out there at along 68. You don't still own that. You sold that, right? Yeah. And then the second resolution is some property that were owned by individuals. And so what we're asking you to do is accept the property, and once you formally accept the property by adopting both these resolutions, then they'll officially be in the village. I would also tell you, as I always tell councils, expect more of these throughout the year. We do have an active annexation program, and when these become available, we try to get them through as quickly as possible and get them to you for approval. So the next 2 items, that's what they relate to.
Okay. Kelly, would you read the title for us?
A resolution accepting the annexation of the land from Pleasant Township, including 8.58 acres of land, known as a 68 equity annexation.
Any discussion? Questions? Did we just?
We need a motion to adopt in a second.
All right, we need a motion to adopt. Bink has made the motion. Is there a second? With Kelly seconding. All right, Brian, let's do a roll call.
Kelly Campbell,
Yes.
Brent Garbutt,
Yes.
Mike Mays,
Yes.
Brooklyn Barnhart,
Yes.
Andy Bugby.
Yes.
That's 1364.
right, thank you. Let's move over to the next one, and that is on page 14. Kelly, would you go ahead and read this for us?
Resolution accepting the annexation of the land from Pleasant Township including 9.66 acres of land known as the Swigert Attridge annexation.
All right, any discussion? All right, if not, I will entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion.
All right, Kelly has made the motion and Mike has seconded. Brian?
Kelly Campbell,
Yes.
Pete Garbett,
Yes.
Mike Mays,
Yes.
Brooklyn Barnhart,
Yes.
Andy Buggy.
Yes.
That's 1365.
All right, so moving right along, we are on page 20 of your packets. And up next, we have a resolution for the fire and EMS service contract with Lewis Township. So this is a contract that we have done over the last few years. Lewis Township did some modifications to their footprint, not necessarily their footprint, but how they cover their fire and EMS. So I know Joey worked on this to get it with them. They wanted all of their different townships, I guess is the word, in one contract. So previously we had 4 different contracts. Now they just want one contract. It's the same money, all 4 added together essentially, but all just in one consistent contract for them.
Same coverage.
Same coverage area. Yes, yes, nothing changes there. So Kelly, would you go ahead and read this by title?
A resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Lewis Township, Brown County, Ohio, for the provision of the fire and EMS services.
Discussion. Okay, I will entertain a motion.
I'll make it.
Mike has made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Andy Backy. Brian, roll call?
Kelly Campbell,
Yes.
Pete Garbett,
Yes.
Mike Mays,
Yes.
Brooklyn Barnhart,
Yes.
Andy Buggy.
Yes.
That's 1366.
Resolution number 1366, motion passes. All right, Mayor's Court Report. Rob, anything to add there? Is there a copy of that packet
Yes.
in the packet? I apologize. And a copy of the Mayor's Court is in your packet. I'm trying to get to the number. Page 27, thank you. Any questions on that? All right. Next item is page 29. Rob, looks like you have provided a report on things that have been happening in the community. Would you like to elaborate?
Yes, the first page there, that is the statistics from the entire last year. So that's going to show you all the calls for service in 2023, which, you got some of these things you have to take in consideration. Some of these are, traffic stops. You see there's over 1,800 of those. So this also includes things that the officers are initiating themselves. So, but that's, the 5,574 is all the types of things that we things we responded to or initiated in 2023. And then the second one is also, that's all the offenses that we dealt with in 2023.
I have a question.
Yes.
Open door, window, or structure. Could you point out?
That's basically, we get a call. Well, actually, sometimes the officers just pull up on things and there's a window open, there's a door open, and so they have to call it in. We're going to basically check the building out, make sure it's clear, they're secure, nobody's in there. Or sometimes a neighbor might call and say, hey, neighbor's door is wide open. Can you guys come check it out? So stuff like that. That's normally what it is. And then there's 1,305 different offenses we dealt with in 2023, and then the last two statistics are basically just from December of last year. So there was 346 different calls we went to in December, and 65 offenses that we took reports on. And then I do have a few things from last month that I'd like to talk about. So we had an unusually high amount of teens that we dealt with in December. Actually, the first one was on December 9th. Officers responded to a call of a group of subjects in a car driving recklessly near Markley Square Apartments. Additionally, it was reported that one of them was hanging out of the window threatening to shoot someone. Officers patrolled the area in both car and foot. Officer Sawyer Ramo was able to locate the vehicle on East State Street and conducted a traffic stop. Open containers of alcohol were located in the vehicle, and a standardized field sobriety test was conducted on the driver, who was arrested for OVI and driving under suspension. Everyone in the vehicle was 18 years or older and were charged accordingly. There was a teen-related domestic on the evening of the 16th of December, where officers responded to Forest Glade Apartments for a verbal domestic. Before the officers arrived, the teen ran away from the apartment into the wooded area near the apartments. Officers searched on foot. The sheriff's department came out and deployed their drone to assist in the search, but were unable to locate them at the time. The teen was, however, located the following morning by Patrolman Chase Pennington near Confidence Cemetery and was returned to his family. Unruly charges are pending on that teen. Juvenile shoplifter at UDF. This occurred also on the 16th. Officer Jesse Green responded to United Dairy Farmers for a teen who was believed to be shoplifting. Upon arrivals, workers expressed concern over the late hour of the teen being there and also had no shoes on. And they believed that him to be shoplifting. Sergeant Green spoke with the teen who admitted to putting things in his backpack without paying for them and had several other items stashed around the store to take later. It was found that the teen was already on probation and his probation officer was contacted. The teen was made to put all the items back on the shelves and his guardian was contacted to pick him up. A probation violation charges are pending on the teen. This one here actually made the news if you happened to see it that day. This was the day after Christmas. I actually responded to this. Georgetown Behavioral Hospital had a bomb threat via email. Upon making contact with the employees and reviewing the email myself, the email went as follows. There are explosives inside your hospital. The explosives are well hidden and they will go off in a few hours. You will all lay in a pool of blood. And then it had a phone number and a name of Colton. Luckily, it was quickly dismissed when it was found that this was sent to 40 different medical facilities in the email chain, all received the same threat. Several medical facilities in Cincinnati and Dayton received the same threats as well. The phone number left on the email was actually for a junk removal business. BCI and the FBI have been brought into the matter and are assisting in the investigation. One of the things that I just thought was unusual for December is we had an unusually high amount of child custody issues. Normally we might have one or two a month. You always have those families that they just can't seem to come in agreement whenever they want to see their kids. We actually had 9 of those in December, which is very unusual for us. And also, the final thing I wanted to say, and I'm glad to say it because we need the help, Sean Enlow is going to be coming back to the police department. He'll be returning actually as my second in command. He should be sworn in at the next meeting in this month. So, and he should be starting February 1st. So that's all I have.
Any questions for Rob? Thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
Okay, before we go into roundtable, just a quick, well, maybe not even quick, but we do now have an open seat on council. So we have a position to fill, and maybe we could entertain just a little bit of discussion around how we would like to do that, what our process is going to be. I know in past I can add a little bit of material here. I've done it a couple different ways. I know there was a little more discussion last year about getting a more consistent process. And so for that reason, again, this is just an idea, not something you have to do, but we started doing a letter of interest, maybe announcing the seat and then advertising through our microphones to the public that if you're interested in it, you could submit a letter of interest to the village office or to one of our council members or anybody up here. But I will throw that out there. I would just like for us to really talk about how we would like to do that.
Can we vote to make that basically like a standard in the future? Or do we need to make a motion to do that? Because everything she just said basically is what I would think we'd want to do.
What would probably be the best way to do it is to adopt it as a council policy, which if you want me to, I can make that into a resolution for you. And the other thing I would remind you is you have 30 days from tonight. And if you don't make that appointment, then the mayor gets to make the appointment. So, but I checked the charter when we were sitting here. It's 30 days from the first meeting after the vacancy. So that's tonight.
So can we make an announcement, let's say tonight, for them to, whoever is interested in that, to come in and put their applications in or whatever, not the application, but reference or interest, letter of interest, and then maybe vote next meeting?
Should we require them to be, if they're submitting that letter, to come to that meeting as well so we can talk to them?
All right. Any other discussion there?
Are we requiring a resume or anything?
That's up to you guys.
It's up to you.
Like to have some side of their ideals of the, of the future of Georgetown, what they see, under their leadership or whatever, what they'd like to see happen.
Yeah, I would think that's probably a good idea. That way we have some background information on them as well.
Okay, so how would you like to see that?
Like a letter of intention.
Letter of intention? And that includes just some,
Background of their work, maybe.
background and maybe some ideas or items that are important to them.
Mm-hmm.
And if they want to submit a resume, like if they would have one, just, it doesn't hurt. I mean, it wouldn't be a requisite though, I wouldn't think, but.
Resume optional and what's the second one that I'm trying to say, Joe? Items of importance or, no, what are they? Goals? Goals?
Yeah, I think that's
Is that a
good.
word we like?
Yeah.
Goals for the village or goals of the council member? Okay, anything else? And they can submit that to the village office or to any of us?
I'd say village office, village administrator, correct?
Well, the only reason I would say to anybody would be maybe they're working,
Hard to get in here.
they're hard to get in during office hours. So
Or put an email out so they can,
We can
just so that it got
definitely
forwarded to us. And
We can definitely advertise on the Facebook page.
I just don't really want to get it, I'd like to have whoever it is applying, I'd like to look at it before that meeting and,
You want to have a
make a
deadline?
rounded. So
Deadline?
could we get it, like say by next Friday, or
Your next meeting is going to be on the 25th, probably?
or that following Monday, that would give us 3 days,
I don't know.
4 days before the meeting to, I don't know about you guys, but I've got a lot of things going on through the week. So I might get to look at it 5 minutes here and 10 minutes there and over lunch, a couple pages and
What about having everything submitted and also sent to all council members by the 22nd? The 22nd is the Monday before. So they have until 4 o'clock or even 3 o'clock on that 22nd. And then that would give somebody, let's say 3 o'clock, it would give somebody an hour to get those scanned in and emailed out to everyone. And no harm, no foul if if one by one they email them out too as they get them. That just gives us more time to review them. Okay, so January 22nd, 3 p.m. is the deadline. Is that everybody in agreement? Okay, so anything else that you guys want to add?
So we'll do this on the Facebook page, you said, and then.
I'll make a formal announcement now, and then Kelly will take care of it tomorrow with the team to get it added to Facebook. Yeah, to make it a post. Okay, anything else, any other wishes? All right, so for the public, so there is one open council seat. The way that we are going to fill that is if you are interested in that seat, we would like to see a letter of interest or intention typed up on your behalf. Inside of that, we would like to have some background on you, obviously as a person of this community, and then as well some goals and maybe what aspirations that you would like to see as a council member. And then as well, you can attach a resume. It's not required, but if you would like to attach that too as well, that would be great. We are setting a deadline of January 22nd at 3 p.m. for those letters to be submitted to the village office or to any council members or mayor, representatives of this village. Okay? All right. Sounds good, guys. Okay, so we'll need to make sure that's an agenda item or something we entertain at the next meeting. Okay. All right. So moving right along, let's go right into roundtable, and we will start to my right. Mike Mays, anything for the group tonight?
Yeah, it's been a couple meetings ago, but we had that activity on the square. I'd like to thank all the businesses that volunteered the money for that free event. Turned out fabulous. Look forward to doing it again next year, probably about twice the size. People love the train. I'd like to also thank Kelly and her husband, Dan Bollington, for jumping in and helping get everything together. I'd like to thank Kelly Campbell and Ron here for jumping in and helping us. Also would like to take and thank Carol and Kim from the Courthouse Square Association. They really was a big help. And actually a lot of people, the local police department, when our lines were getting a little bit extended out into the road, they come along and kind of kept everybody safe. So learning experience, great event, probably served at least 12 to 1,400 people, free food, whether it be pizza, whether it be hamburgers, hot dogs, or cookies. Just a great, great event. Other than that, that's it.
All right, I can echo that was a great event. So congratulations, Mike.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Ink.
I just want to recognize that we had a couple of new businesses have a grand opening today. R. Varney Marketing over by the post office and Coldwell Banker. So they're in our community. I know R. Varney, they do all kinds of advertising. I know they probably made signs for some of us for the election, and they have all kinds of different things that they offer. And of course, we have Coldwell Banker there as well. So they had a good event today.
Did they have a good turnout?
Yeah, it was. I wasn't able to get there for the ribbon cutting, but it was. I got there about an hour into it, and it was still pretty full. So it was a good time.
I struggled to get there. It was on my calendar, and it kind of got meshed in with
Yep.
some other things. So,
Yeah,
but I'm glad they had a good turnout.
Yeah, it was good.
Fantastic. Kelly Campbell.
Yeah, a few things. I've had a couple of people ask how to get on the one call list. So anybody want to comment on how to do that?
It's going to be, we're going to start advertising a little bit more on Facebook for different things. That's one of the first things that we're going to make sure that we regularly put out there. But as it stands currently, if somebody would like to get on the one call list, it's a simple phone call to the village office, 937-378-6395, I believe. And whomever picks up the phone can help get your name added. So very simple to get added, but we're going to definitely advertise that as well more on social media. It's a system where basically you say there's a road closure or something major going on within the community. It's a service where you can essentially go in and you can send out a call to 700 households.
I was looking through some old minutes from last year. There was something on there about dangerous dogs and ordinance. Did that ever happen? Did anybody know? I never.
Yeah, we did.
Did you?
Absolutely can. Yes. You thought you were getting away from this.
Exactly.
You're not.
Just a nice guy.
Introduce yourself, please, Jeremy.
Okay, so my name is Jeremy Varner, and I'm just a regular citizen of Georgetown, Ohio.
However, what you're referring to, Kelly, was happening while I was on council. And I'm just going to tell it like it is that we spent a lot of time looking at this because of the seriousness of the situation. We had people coming in who had attacks from I'm going to say, it's not official, but I'm going to say a vicious animal. It was attacking their animal and caused some very, very serious problems. And that's how this whole thing started. After looking into it extensively, what we basically found out, and I'm keeping an eye towards Joe to make sure I don't say anything wrong here, is that it is difficult to impossible to put ordinances and laws in place that are enforceable or meaningful in a situation like this. We went round and round and round. And I feel very, very bad for the people in question who are facing this down. But essentially, it comes down to it's the people who own the dangerous animals. There's their responsibility, and it's people who afterwards, after they suffer through these things, that they are asked to press charges or whatnot. It's essentially a civil situation. Our attempt to make it into a push into the criminal realm is very, very likely to be doomed to failure. And Chris, if you're out there listening to this, I'm really, really sorry about that. We explained this to people back then, but does that answer your question? It was not a satisfying resolution, I think, for anybody, but it also, I don't know if there's a whole lot more that could be done. There's basically laws in place and the people can be cited for those things. And compared to what damages may have occurred, it's kind of minuscule. But unfortunately, the only way that the victim can come back on that is like he said, is a civil suit, you know.
Jeremy.
Thank you, Jeremy. Speaking of animals, how were we leaving off on the trapping of the wild animals and all that?
So that, we had, let's think that through.
We did adopt that.
That was in the community development minutes as well. It's something that we have to speak about at our next meeting.
Okay, so it's still in process. It's still being reviewed. Okay.
Did you review the draft ordinance that I prepared?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's see here. I don't have much. I just wanted to say thanks to Jeremy for serving on council. He will be missed. I appreciate everything you done. Thanks to Art Owens. Good luck on your future retirement. And good luck to all the Andy and everybody else here. And hopefully we get to find a new council person soon. That's all I got.
Fantastic. All right, Brooklyn. All right, and Andy Backey.
Just look forward to working with everybody up here. That's pretty much all I got to say. Thank you.
Can I add one more thing?
Sure.
I'd just like to thank also the fire and EMS. They were there also at that skate event that day. Knock on wood, we had no incidents, nobody got hurt, but it was wonderful having them there just to know if somebody did face plan or something, we were covered. So I wanted to take and thank the fire and EMS for being there as well.
Fantastic. Thank you. All right, Kelly Jones, anything from an administrator standpoint?
Just a few updates. The structure that we're building on South Main Street's on schedule. I did have a Teams meeting with Structure Point on Monday. We received a $450,000 grant for the water tower repair. Now, whether that'll be enough to complete that project, still up in the air. The Structure Point's putting together the cost analysis now and the design and things. Now, the $450,000 grant that we received is a federal EPA. So we may have to go out and seek other monies, depending on the cost that comes back on that project. And during this discussion, we can't use other federal money with this grant. It has to be either state money, loan, or general fund, whatever. But there's a good possibility there'll be a need for other funding. And also during that same conversation, we've been working, the village has an agreement with the EPA also to do around $100,000 a year on I&I, the infiltration, stormwater. Structure Point's been working on that. They have the project completed. They've identified a lot of items. There's money out there right now that we're attempting to get, right about $1 million right now. And if we can get that, our portion would be the 100,000 we would normally put in to that project on a 1 year. By doing, if we're fortunate enough to get that, we would be able to do about 3 years worth of work at one time instead of doing it over a 3-year period like they originally was planned. And they're also attempting to get another 500,000 for the lift station. We lost that grant. We did not get that approved, so we're going to try for that one more time. So,
Can I ask you a question on that? So what do they do? So they identify where the problem is, I presume, correct?
yes.
And then how do they address that? Like, say, if a homeowner's running, rainwater into their sewer, how do they address that on private property? Is that
There's two issues. We have situations like that identified. I did a similar project when I was here years back. And if we identified somebody that was running a downspout or sump pump or something that into this system, once we identified, we contact the property owner, they had to disconnect. Now, that's not to say somebody didn't go and hook it back up after we left. There's always those possibilities. But what we're looking at here is our own system, our own lines. And you have to understand some of these lines underground are older than most of us sitting here. And
so far that'll put
they're breaking, so they'll go in and they do a liner and seal up those types of leak. But that's all been identified, that portion of the project. The village got a $250,000 grant previously, which paid for this study. Okay, so that's been identified. So now we're on to the repair portion of it at this time. So, and that's all. Okay.
All right. Did I miss anyone? Joe, anything?
Nothing.
All right. So another item, just to give you guys a heads up, we certainly are actively looking for a new administrator. Kelly's been very helpful in helping to get some things put together and advertising done. We are also potentially looking at a consulting firm to help us in that search as well. One of the things I would like to do, as you guys probably know, I make the appointment to council and you guys approve that next administrator. So to make that a more seamless process, I will be tapping on a few shoulders here to help in the search and potentially help with interviews. So heads up, if you get that phone call here in the near future, we're not ready to start that, but we should be over the next couple of weeks. So certainly want to collaborate with a team to make the best decision for the village. So if you get that phone call, that's what it's going to be. So any questions there? All right. Upcoming meetings, our next regular council meeting is on the 25th of January at 7 p.m. right here in the council chambers. All committee meetings are on hold until the next meeting. We'll have everything finalized with committee members, hopefully by then. Additionally, if you all could just stay behind after the meeting for a quick picture, I would like to kick off our marketing on social media with our new 2024 council members. If we could just take a Brooklyn, don't be shaking your head. Just a quick impromptu picture, nothing formal, just something fun that we can share and make sure everybody's out there. So outside of that, I have nothing else here on the agenda unless somebody has something to bring forth to the table. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Mike has properly made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Andy Baki has seconded the motion. All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion, or meeting adjourned.
Last your first meeting.
Don't forget, we're still live, guys. We're still live.